there's nothing you can do about it. So what? Because we do not support our own. We do not really pay attention to who is even out there that's black, that's trying to do anything, because it's not being pushed out there as popular. And it's not so much of a thing to where it's a black people problem, what have you. It's a mainstream problem. It's a media problem. It's the fact that the small black companies can't afford millions of dollars or thousands of dollars to go and advertise to let you guys know what's going on. Which is why, again, one of the things I wanted to do when I put out the website, the whole social media site, was to have a platform for us to do such a thing and to put black issues, black things, black economics out there on the forefront to where everybody that's participating as black can see it. And I have to really worry about the fact that they're trying to monopolize the whole advertising situation. It basically did. You have to go through Facebook, really, if you want to advertise on Instagram or Facebook, where the people are. So they have a control on the whole economic structure of the internet, to where we can't even get to our people. And then you have sites like mine and other people's. I'm not the only person this happens to where when we try to put out black business, it's sabotaged. I pay a lot of money for security for my site. So to have people email me and say, hey, I can't even get onto your site to purchase. I mean, just think about how many people that can be affected, how much money I'm losing because of that. And I'm paying for security. So this is stuff like this that they do. And we have to understand and support that much more, knowing that this type of stuff is happening. But the problem is deeper, than, the person not having, the following or the popularity. It's the fact that, they are so deep in our mentals, our psyche, as far as how we interact with each other and how we live our life, that, we're living completely by what they have taught us, since slavery. Everything we're following, the trends or what have you, everything that we are doing, it's been put there, by them. Now, it's not just, the Kardashians, it's other corporations that have been doing this for a long time. They do market research on us. They pay groups of black people to basically come together and talk about trends and talk about what people like. You have the biggest influencer of culture being in the pockets of them, of the very people that's oppressing us. So when you have the Jews and these people that's really controlling economics and controlling the media, to really influence us and to really decide what way we go, we're not going to be able to move nowhere, us following that. So you have the biggest people that's putting out this culture being hip-hop artists, mainstream, and what they say basically goes in the culture. What they're talking about, what's in with them, everybody tends to follow. So when you have these people basically backing our oppressors and, making sure that what they put out there is going to be harmful for us, and then us taking that direction, choosing to take that direction, and choosing to go and follow what's popular, this is the results. Again, which is why we say conscious. You're a conscious person. You understand, you get it, what's going on. So you have a lot of people that just don't want to really pay attention to the trap. And again, we all agree that there's white supremacy, that it exists. There's racism, that it exists. But we don't want to agree on the methods, the weapons. And we accepting it. We taking the weapons in. We defending the weapons. So you're going to have a lot of people out there that's going to defend Kylie. They're going to defend the whole situation with her stealing the ideas. And it's a lot of people going to look at it and, oh, well, it is what it is. And it's to the point now black people have been just brainwashed so much to where we were basically, shunned and talked down about one of our own people that's a victim, just to give, props to a celebrity that not doing nothing for you, ripping off your culture, ripping off everything, ripping off your ideas, ripping off your hard work. And if you're not going to support the people that's putting out the hard work to try to bring some kind of economic stability, to the black community, we're never going to have it. So a lot of people out there complaining about the issue, but they're part of the problem as well. We have to pay attention to how this stuff has been taking place for a long time. Again, you go back and you look at certain periods of time, you had our music was on top. Again, even with the whole segregation thing and racism and everything that was happening, in the 50s, you had so many white people coming to black artists as concerts, and this was something that they couldn't ignore. So you had, of course, them looking at the whole thing and saying, you know what, I can do this, and having, you know, the white artists come in and basically try to steal the style of the black artists to just basically try to get their people on board. They love the culture but don't like the people who created the culture, the people who are putting out the effort, I should say, who putting out the music. They love our culture, they love what we putting out, but they don't love us. You know, we have to go through what we're going through while they steal what we put out and pass it off as their, you know, accomplishments, and we get very little credit for it. So this has been happening for a long time. We've seen it first in music. All of a sudden now, you know, it's why people can sing. We've seen the whole trend switch to where you have a person like Justin Timberlake being produced. You have, you know, Bieber and all these white artists just basically stealing little by little from our style. And just because they say, well, you know, I grew up listening to the Temptations, or I grew up listening to Boyz II Men, or grew up listening to all these black musicians. A lot of black people just say, okay, well, he cool, he like black people, and there it is. They let it slide. And we don't really understand how economically that's really taken away from other black artists who feel the same way, who grew up listening to all black artists, who trying to come out there and do the exact same thing but won't get that platform because they black. Plain and simple, because we won't support them as much as we support, the cool white boy who like black people stuff. We'll support that guy, but not our own. So we're seeing it in music. We've seen it in TV and television again, you know, in the 90s, predominantly when you go at home, you get off work or what have you, you're seeing all these black TV shows on television. You know, as I talked about in previous videos, how we ruled TV for a while, for a long time. We had so many different shows that was on TV that had black cast, that was amazing, good shows, and that just be taken away completely. Gone to where, you know, now you have all these white shows and everything is different, and you see that they the lingo in a lot of these shows, I mean, you got to really pay attention. A lot of us just look at it as but listen to the way they're talking, their swag, everything is stolen from us. The stuff they saying, it's just crazy. I seen a video where you had this white racist woman basically sound like a black person while she was being racist, talking about niggas. I mean, it's just her whole slang she was saying was like, well, everything you saying came from us. And it's crazy. And this is what's happening. And we got to step back and look at everything and understand the trap of it, the deception of it, and what's taking place, and how, you know, they know. Bottom line, when you just get to it at its core, it is destroying the foundation of generational wealth, which is the black family. Plain and simple. The family itself, the mom and dad. Long as that is in tatters, everything else will follow. And this is what's happening. It's really no more black love. It's a joke now. The memes that's out there and what's happening. Just reading some of the stuff that go up and down the timeline, the issues that black people are having in black relationships, the problems that stem from the music, the culture itself that we don't want to admit to. And this is the problem. So you have a lot of confused, lost people out there. A lot of confused, lost black women, you know, and when you see stuff like this, you know, this is confused people, and it's crazy. And we have to really understand what's taking place and how far behind we are, and how deeper and deeper we are falling into this problem, this economic problem. And unless we realize it, you know, we're going to be lost. So now I had a friend who was basically, you know, selling clothes online, and, you know, he wasn't really getting any support at all. A lot of people were saying, you know, we don't like that your clothes are made in China. You know, your clothes are made in China. We don't like where they're being manufactured, so on and so forth. So he basically took a lot of money, purchased equipment, you know, to make shirts and to make his own clothes, you know, bought a warehouse building, and so and the whole nine. So same situation. Nobody supported. Black people still didn't support. So it's you know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But we got to understand, I've seen this excuse before. This is one of the reasons why I mentioned where, you know, my clothes are being made at. One, and I've been selling clothes online for years. This is just the first site that I put my name behind, that I put out there. It's me. The other stuff is doing so well, I don't even want to mention it, because I don't want people to, you know, because of what I talk about, I don't want people to know that I own these sites. So I don't bring that up. But the thing is, it's not it don't have anything to do where it's manufactured, because just pay attention to where stuff comes from. Almost everything we have comes from China. Jordans are made in China, plain and simple. You have, Floyd Mayweather's clothing line made in Bangladesh. Both of them have stuff that's made in America. So do I. Also, almost all of the top brands that we buy from, manufactured, produced, China, or in a country that's not America. So I don't know if it's people saying that it's not a black thing, that, they're worried about black people not making the products, or it's just an American thing. I don't get what the issue is that people bringing up where stuff is made, when almost everything we buy is made, outside of America and outside of the hands of black people. I don't have a problem with Chinese making what they make. Chinese did not oppress us. Chinese people did not enslave us for, thousands of years. So we have to really, pay attention to that type of lingo and understand that it just comes from a place of ignorance and hate that people just have for, a black person trying to be successful. And again, for me, it's understandable because I understand the brainwashing. For other people, they may not really get it and understand what's taking place. They would just view it as hate. But I understand the brainwashing that's taking place and why we are being pushed in certain directions to support certain things. And completely what we are oblivious of is how it's destroying us and really not helping us out economically. That you can have the money to put the popularity power in the hands of a few people that we are supporting, while, the small black community, small black economic system that you have very few black entrepreneurs, participating in, is not flourishing. So now I'm happy to say, as of today, my net worth is over $1 million. So in a few years, in a small amount of time, simply being conscious, I was able to generate such wealth outside of the hands of, mainstream media or anything mainstream, whether it be being a rapper or actor, what have you, to not have to really sink deeply into the traps that black people fall into because we don't want to figure shit out on our own economically. So the reason, again, I'm always going to go to the personal economic series. The reason, again, why I put that out is to just show people that what's possible out there for us, and the fact that we don't have the teaching and we don't have people really telling us what we can do to really grow wealth economically. Plain and simple. I'm modest. I don't like big flashy stuff and everything like that. I can live wherever I want, can do whatever I want to, but there's so much more I want to achieve. So, this is nothing to me. And when you get to certain points, you'll realize, it's not so much about you having a whole lot of money. It's keeping that money. It's keeping it, holding on to it, and really managing the money correctly and being able to see where it's going and how it's working for you. That's the main thing. And it's ways that, we can do that. It's ways that we can make it work for us. And as I talked about in the series, just try not to put yourself in a situation where you're completely solely relying on black people, because they're just not going to support. And that's sad, but it's true. So you have to really pay attention to your markets and pay attention to what you're pushing or what you're trying to do economically to make yourself wealthy. But again, the popularity trend, was not in my favor in no instance. I've sold products that was popular, but when a person don't know who's behind it, they buying the product for its popularity. Now, if you tell people that you sell it, you have to really think about who would still buy it. So on that aspect, again, it's ways that we can flip the script and use what's being basically put in place to steal from us to basically create wealth for ourselves. So it's many ways to do this. And I want people to understand that popularity, it's a problem. It's an issue that has been hindering us for a long time. And we got to understand that it's ways to work around it. And we got to recognize what's been put in place to really keep us back. One of the major issues that I see for us, as black family, is just that issue of trust that we're going to have between each other as far as the black man and the black woman because of what I'm seeing in abundance on social media. You know, the problem is huge. And I don't think that we really want to acknowledge it because just like hip hop is popular. So, you know, we're men. You know, I like looking at, you know, fat asses like the next man. You know, I'm a man. So I think in that aspect, you're not going to have many black men stand up and say, black women don't do that. You know, one, it's not popular. Two, a lot of black dudes go like, oh, you know, speak for yourself, you know, calm down. And we're caught up in a situation where, you know, lust takes over, and lust is a problem for us. And they understand that because it's a man thing. They understand how lust is going to make black men not look at this black woman and not support her, plain and simple. And it's a problem because us as black men, we should be saying to these women, stop doing this. Cut it out. You don't have to, you know, twerk to get my attention. You don't have to be this way to get my attention. And because we're not saying this, because we are congratulating and making these women feel like they're the greatest thing in the world, the problem will persist. It will persist. It will continue to be a problem. It will continue to separate the black family. Meanwhile, while you have the black men not being able to be in a position of wealth to get these black women, what's going to happen? The white men going to swoop in there, pick them up off their feet, or Latino, pick them up off their feet. Plain and simple. The black man that's rich that can afford them is not going to treat them the way they should be treated, the way they really want to be treated. They're going to come in there with their money and hit and split. Plain and simple. So again, what's taking place? The destruction of the foundation for generational wealth is happening on a daily basis, constantly. And, you know, we're stuck. And we can't do nothing about it because we lack the education. We lack the understanding, the consciousness of what's taking place. And we stick to the popularity aspect of it and allow it to destroy us. So, you know, popularity is a problem. It's a huge problem. And it's something that I touched on before, but I don't think people really understand. And I get these questions a lot. There's a lot of people wondering, you know, why do we do certain things? And this is why. And when you have a mainstream media monster out there, you know, pushing the trend and making it as if this is right, this is what we should be doing. You have Instagram paying these women and making sure these women get all the supporters to their sites, you know, just because they took a picture of them working out or in certain pants showing their ass. It's crazy. And meanwhile, you have the black women that's out there that won't do that, that's good women, that's working hard, that went to college, that's doing, you know, good things. They don't get the support, you know, they don't get the support that they deserve or that they want. And then on top of that, you know, they still looking at black men, you know, with their hands up like, I don't know about you or what you want exactly because of, you know, the trends, the culture. So yeah, you know, I want to touch on this topic and really get people to think about it a little bit more than they have been about, you know, popularity itself and the fact that, you know, the culture today is about what's popular, what's trending, what is talked about the most on Instagram and Facebook, what's being shown the most, what are celebrities talking about. You know, we're following this stuff to our doom, to our, you know, to our poverty, and poverty is staying still with us because of this. And, you know, while we just find entertainment in our destruction, economically, we're not growing at all. We stand still. We're getting up every morning and going out and working for these people that's don't give a damn about us. And, you know, you come home to your fun, you come home to your phone and your social media, and people just live in this fantasy world of social media as if it's reality, when in reality, their life is shit, plain and simple. And they contributed to it. And you know, even the little small things that will help, you know, us come out of our situations, we won't even do. So, you know, it's a problem, and we got to really look at it, and everybody have to look at themselves and understand supporting a lot of this stuff is the problem, but popularity is what people are going to support. So it is what it is. But I want to thank you guys for, you know, taking the time to watch. Everybody who purchased and supported, thank you for your support, and I'll see you guys next video.